Hey, I'm your host, TheDoctorDanko, come on in. You've been missing out, so let's begin. Pumpkin_crumb is your host here too. When you hear the beats, you know what to do. Why didn't you want me? Why didn't you want me now? Why didn't you want me? Why didn't you want me? Hey. Good evening and welcome to Why Did Not You Warn Me? I'm your host, Matthew, the Dr. Danko.
I'm Hillary Crum, the effervescent co-host.
Indeed.
So anyway.
So what are we doing this week?
Granted, it was my idea to do the podcast.
Yeah.
I sort of thought you were going to help me, though. Whatever.
I mean, I can help you. What did you have in mind to talk about? Like, I know we finished the 100.
We have a couple things, but why don't we don't have anything as exciting as Avengers Endgame, sadly.
Right.
Why don't we go back to, like, the format that we used to have? Did you watch or play or do anything since the last time we did this?
Well, the last time we did it was about a month ago. But
not as bad as we've gone before.
Right. And I've been mostly working now, so I haven't really done anything.
Our lives have sort of reversed.
Yeah. Now I have a full-time position at GoApe.
He's important.
No.
It's cool.
It is cool, though.
And he is important. Don't let him bullshit you.
But yeah, my days are like I'm not filling it with watching stuff and whatnot. And then the times that I am watching something, we're watching it together because that's the way our schedules have been.
Because we're coupley.
Yeah. I played, Spider-Man some more. I beat the game a while back, but now I'm playing like the DLCs, the downloadable content, which is like
I had no idea that was a thing.
Yeah, it's information that already exists on the game disc, but you have to purchase it to unlock it, which is lame.
Did you purchase these things?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So you're committed.
Yes.
I mean, like, to the idea of playing the game, for you to spend extra money on something, you have to be really into it.
Right. And that's the problem. I mean, I did it with, like, the Arkham Knight game.
And that took up your whole life and
games.
all of your emotions.
Well, yeah. I only buy the extra stuff if I'm invested in the game or if the game is good. I don't like downloadable content because of that fact. Because, like, granted, they release it. So they release the game, and then a couple months later they'll release the downloadable content. So they're still refining and working on things after the game's release. But essentially, they have the outline of what that's supposed to be already on the game when it's released. But like I said, it's hidden behind a paywall. So
that's garbage.
Yeah, so once you buy the $60 game, which is usually what they cost now,
right?
Brand new, there's even more money you have to spend to unlock certain features and things on the disc that's technically already there. It's just not accessible without, like, the...
Capitalism is such garbage.
Yeah. And, I mean, luckily, the downloadable content that I've bought is at least somewhat worth it. Like,
okay. How much does the downloadable content cost?
It can vary. It could be, like... So if you buy, like, skins for characters, it could be, like, $1.99. But
what are you buying?
I was buying the stories.
And
so
how much
are
those?
Like a story pack. So normally they're like $10 a piece. For Spider-Man in particular, there's 3 of them, $10 a piece, or you could buy all 3 for like $25 instead.
What a deal!
But there was some sort of like Marvel/Spider-Man sale going on, so I got it less. But yeah, some games have it where you can like purchase skins and whatnot, which is like I said, $1.99 or whatever, just to make your character look different in the game, which is lame. But
calling them skins is super weird.
I know. It's
like
just...
I heard you talking about wanting to purchase the Miles Morales skin, and I was like, that sounds very bizarre and not politically appropriate.
Right, but it's just I don't know.
Like, It's the lingo.
Technically, it's the costume, but
you call it a skin.
Changing the digital information that you see into what you're purchasing. I don't know how else to explain it, but...
And these are made... I have so many questions.
Yeah.
These are made by the people that make the video games?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, some...
Because aren't there, like, fan-made
there
mods?
are mods, yeah.
Yes.
That's
Thank
exactly
you,
it.
Tumblr.
Particularly with, I think, like, the Fallout 4 game.
I read a lot about Fallout mods.
They allowed mods to be a thing. But then... Bethesda. And wow.
Yeah. Yeah, no big deal.
Which
I'm a gamer girl. No, I'm really not. Feel free to gatekeep me. Sorry, go ahead.
No gatekeeping.
Never. It's garbage.
But it allows you to change certain aspects of the game to make it more enjoyable. So, like, you have the game as it was produced by the people that made it.
Right.
But then, and this is more common with, like, simpler games, like these next-gen games are a little harder to mod because there's more that goes into them and more coding and stuff. People do it, but it's way beyond me. But, like, the original Nintendo games, which are, like, 8-bit games, you could mod those and change, like, you're familiar with, like, the Super Mario, like, the look of it.
Yeah.
So, like, the bricks and the stuff like that. People could change what those bricks look like to look like anything they want. And that's essentially what you can do, but on a larger scale. Okay. So if I wanted to make like a Doctor Who mod where I'm in Fallout, the universe, and like you roll up to, some sort of shed, they've replaced it with the TARDIS, and you enter the shed, and it's like the inside of the TARDIS. They've manipulated what the game allows you to...
And this is fan done?
There are a lot of fan stuff, like I said, with Fallout.
It's cool that Bethesda allowed that to happen.
Yeah. Because I think they also released their own mods as well. Okay. I don't know what goes into there. I didn't really get too into it because I'm fine with the game the way it is. I've only experienced it like in the Grand Theft Auto series. Okay. Because it's way easier to mod things on a PC versus a console. Sure. You can mod the console gaming system itself, but...
He's pointing at his console, just for those at home.
Well, I didn't know if I called it a console, if you would...
Yeah, I know. I know what a gaming console is.
And I don't say that because...
I know, because you know that it's very much not a thing that is on my radar. Yeah. I like the idea of, like, fans being able to contribute. Yeah. Because, it creates so many cool possibilities of, like, gaming communities, which I've heard a lot about, and they sound horrifying, but that's because of straight white men, not because of video games.
Yeah. There's, like, for the Call of Duty games, people mod those games so that they can shoot quicker and therefore kill people faster.
That's what we need in America.
Right.
To kill people faster.
Because those games are based on, like, statistics of how well your character is doing. If you're getting easier kills because you're modded out, it's also a bad thing.
Oh, good. Okay.
Karma. Yeah. Like,
no, just
you can get kicked from the server and never be allowed to play again if you're caught using a modded console.
Oh.
Yeah, in certain situations. But
we went off on a little tangent here, but it's interesting. I'm learning new things.
But like the Grand Theft Auto series, which you go around shooting people and blowing stuff up, which can be fun.
Hookers.
Yeah, that's part of it. But I typically would just drive around. Exactly.
Going 10 miles below the speed limit.
Because I can drive all over the place. It's where I get out my...
Your road rage.
Road rage, exactly. Aww. But there was a mod for the PC where you could change a vehicle into the DeLorean for Back to the Future.
Aww.
And that was really cool.
Even though Back to the Future is total bullshit.
It's not.
And just a really weird movie.
It is.
And Marty McFly is the devil.
He's not. Don't say
Michael J.
that.
Fox is the
Thank
devil.
You.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
We'll get there. This all ties into things we're going to discuss in the episode.
Yeah. So, I don't know.
So that's what you've been doing.
Playing Spider-Man, yeah.
Okay.
Pretty much. Trying to unlock certain skins, as it were.
Sure.
Yeah. Okay. I haven't really watched anything that...
But I haven't.
You haven't, yeah.
You don't have to catch me up on anything.
No. But what have you been reading? I know you've been reading quite a bit.
Yeah, I read all the time, exhaustively. I read a really good book that a friend of mine recommended called So You Want to Talk About Race, and I don't have the book handy, and the woman has, I don't want to say some unpronounceable name because I only find it unpronounceable because I'm white. I want to say it's Ijeoma Oluo, and I am definitely not saying that right, and that's on me. I should have looked it up. But yeah, it was a very... my friend who loaned it to me said it was like just a very basic primer in how to not be a shitty white person, and it very much was. The woman who wrote it is black and queer, is, another interesting fact. Yeah, it was like a real step-by-step guide. Like, it started talking about privilege and the concept of privilege, which a lot of white people, as soon as you say it, they get very defensive.
Yeah.
And I thought she was very clever in her writing, because the way she defined privilege, she kept race out of the conversation entirely until she had defined the parameters of privilege.
Okay.
So she explained privilege as, like, if you are able to get an undergraduate degree, that is a type of privilege. So then if you have a job after college and you get promoted because you have a degree over somebody who is equally skilled, if not more skilled, that didn't have a degree, then when you are promoted, you will see your degree as being a merit thing, even though it isn't.
Making you more qualified, quote unquote.
Yeah, you'll see it as making you more qualified, even if that is not in fact the case. And then you will in turn be more likely to promote people that have degrees. And, like, the whole having a degree, you can break down into all different kinds of privilege. So then bringing race into that, white people, whether we choose to acknowledge it or not, have an immense amount of privilege in Western society, particularly in the United States, because, again, whether or not we want to admit it, we live in a white supremacist society. And even if we are not ourselves racist, we have benefited from it. And we can bend over backwards to be woke and be allies and be helpful, but it has to start with the acknowledgement that we have gotten to where we are in life because doors have been opened to us that would not have been open to people of color. And, like, I'm very into the social justice stuff, and I got a lot out of this book in terms of just how to be a good ally and when to speak up and when not to speak up, and to be an ally when you can in situations where it's not safe for people of color to be their own advocate.
Yeah.
But to obviously, because there's a line between speaking up for people when they don't feel comfortable and understanding when they don't want to speak up about it, because it's a lot of emotional labor for a person of color to have to call a white person out, to be like, hey, you said something that was kind of shitty and here's why.
Right.
Yeah. And, like, white people have this whole, like, negative trope of the angry black person, and being, like, when somebody brings up racism, like, if a white person sees it as a teeny tiny incident and saying, well, why are you making such a big deal out of that? It was so small. This author pointed out that for every person of color, those small events happen all day long, every day, and if they have finally exploded about something, it was because that was the end of their rope for that day. Yeah. And we have to understand that they live a life of constant microaggressions, and we could not possibly know what that's like.
Yeah.
So you want to talk about race, read the book. I found it really, really helpful without being, like, dense or too academic or too literary. Right. Like, it was very, here's what will happen, here's what you can do about it, and here are the steps you can take to educate yourself. That's another big thing, is don't expect people of color to educate you on how to not be a shitty white person. Do your own research. It's not hard. We have the internet.
Well said.
Thank you. Not my own words.
Right, no.
But yeah, so I also read a bunch of dumb young adult books that I could talk about for days because they're delightful and they made me happy and made me feel all the things as good young adult novels do. Right.
And how many of those were depressing at all?
Recently, I reread An Abundance of Catherines by John Green, which is a little bit depressing, but not really, just like teen breakup.
Right. Well, I mean, it's still sad.
It is sad, but it's like a, oh, poor teenage boy kind of way. I just love John Green. Although that book, in rereading it, is a little bit misogynistically problematic. But it's John Green's early work, and I forgive him everything, even though that's problematic.
Well, it only matters if he has grown since then.
Exactly, and he has demonstrated growth.
Right.
And he's a white man, and he's flawed, as are all white men.
True.
But he seems dedicated to working on it, although I haven't checked in with him in a couple of years.
Right.
So, who knows?
For the record, all people are flawed.
True.
However, speaking as a white man, it's way harder for us to...
Is it harder to
deal... No, that's not what I'm saying.
I know,
Don't do that.
I just wanted to cut you off.
I'm saying it's a lot harder for us to acknowledge, take responsibility for, or like learn from those things.
And you can point to so many examples.
I can. I'd like to think that I'm not as bad. I'm sure I am still problematic in certain ways.
We all are.
Yeah.
If you were as bad, we wouldn't have been dating for this long.
But I'm just saying, like, I've seen a lot of white men, straight white men in particular, spout bullshit and
just unrelenting,
ignorant, beyond recognition,
and just
it's
defiant bullshit.
Right.
Anyway, people suck.
Yeah.
Do what we can to be better.
Exactly.
That's all we can goddamn do.
And it's really just because, you know, white men always feel attacked.
Yeah, I mean, and it comes down to privilege.
Yeah.
So if you guys have always been sitting at the top of society,
even if you're not thinking that, if you're just like, well, I didn't make the world the way it is, but you have benefited from it.
Yeah.
So like, the fact that you aren't thinking about it is another sign of privilege.
Like if, for example, you see a really famous superhero movie and there's a scene where there's like 8 women and no men in your 100-man ensemble, and you get really mad about that 10-second moment with no men in the frame. That's an example of privilege.
Yeah.
Like, you don't have to understand how amazing that moment felt as a woman. And what a crumb, what a teeny tiny crumb to give us during this, like, massive white man franchise.
Right.
But it felt forced, I guess. Fuck white men. You may quote me on that.
Well said.
Anyway.
So what have we been doing?
So I started rewatching The Good Wife. Mm-hmm. I say rewatching because my mother suggested that I watch it several years ago because a woman who was in ER is also the star of The Good Wife. And Juliana Margulies, I think is how you say her name.
Probably.
Yeah. She was George Clooney's love interest on ER. Yep. Yeah. And we all know Laurie Crum loves some ER. Watch this be the one she listens to. My mother suggested that I might be interested in The Good Wife. So she and I were sort of watching it together for a while. And then I got back into it recently because I've been sad and I needed a garbage show that I didn't want to rewatch Gilmore Girls again. Because even for me, there's a limit.
Wow. I didn't know that.
I was too sad for Gilmore Girls, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I started watching The Good Wife. It's fine. And then you jumped in.
Yeah, it must have been like season 2.
Maybe.
Season 2 or 3, I don't know.
2 or 3, yeah. When, spoilers for The Good Wife. When does Will die? Is it 3?
Probably the end of 3.
Like the middle, not even the end. Yeah. How many seasons are there? 7?
6.
6?
Because it goes, so season 1, they're all one title.
Oh, right.
Season 2 is 2 titles. Season 3 is 3 titles. 4 is 4 titles, and then it starts going backwards. So
that's right.
5 is 3. 6
Words
is 2.
in the title.
7
not
is 1.
Titles. Yeah. They don't give each episode
4
titles.
They give them 4 titles.
Great. So The Good Wife, the premise of The Good Wife is like, it's sort of a Hillary Clinton-esque beginning. oh my god, I forgot her name for a second. Alicia Florrick, played by George Clooney's love interest from ER.
Wow.
I didn't watch ER.
Yeah, but like she has the show The Good Wife, and you're still calling her George Clooney's love interest.
That's all anybody else is gonna know her.
That's fine, but
you know why? Because we classify women by the men that they relate to. Anyway.
I mean, that's fair.
So Alicia Florrick is married to the state's attorney of Cook County, Illinois.
There you go.
It's like, what state is Chicago in? Embarrassing. Mm-hmm. The opening shot of the show is Peter Florrick, her husband, resigning from the office of state's attorney because he has been caught doing some shady shit, including, but not limited to, sleeping with hookers. And his wife, Alicia, is standing beside him at this press conference looking like she is about to vomit everywhere, but she stands beside him because she's the good wife.
Well, that's the other thing is she used to be a lawyer.
Right. I think they met at law school. Yeah.
And then she, presumably when Peter Florrick was running for state's attorney and then got the job, she stopped being...
I think she stopped when they got married.
Oh.
Because her kids are older when the show... Not like in their 20s, they're like in high school when the show starts.
Okay. But she took a pause on
her life to be Peter's wife.
Yeah.
And then she finds out that Peter has been not the good husband.
Yep.
Yeah, so then Alicia... So Peter goes to prison. Important. Alicia has to figure out how she is going to support her 2 children and herself because she hasn't had to work in, these many years as a wife.
Like 13 years
something like that, yeah. So she gets hired, she gets rejected by a bunch of different firms, obviously. She gets hired at Lockhart Gardner. Stern Lockhart Gardner is what it's initially called because we forget about Stern by the end of, season 1.
Yeah.
This is way too much detail. She only gets hired because one of the name partners, Will Gardner, she also went to college with, and they were good friends, and possibly could have been more. Yeah, so it's not a literary masterpiece of a show, obviously. I don't know if you can tell. And, the sad thing is it could have been.
Yeah,
it could have been, a feminist, really cool thing, but...
Could have been similar to Scandal, which I don't know if you've ever watched.
No.
I watched too much of it.
Okay, sure. I get it.
Which, it's essentially the same thing, but it's about the president of the United States.
Okay.
And it's not, his wife. It's his, essentially, PR person, Olivia Pope is her name, because she's a white hat in D.C. that can fix any problem.
That's not the one that Sebastian Stan is in, is it?
Oh, it might
No,
be.
that's Political Animals.
Oh.
Which is, again, some variant of the same thing.
But, it's this whole thing where, the president is married to the First Lady, obviously. But there's, he's in love with Olivia, and will they, won't they, and then they do, and then it just... constantly.
I mean, at least in this one, the woman's the main character.
Yeah, but there are some cool side characters.
Yeah, Will is a pretty cool character.
Yeah.
Kalinda, I want to say the only woman of color on the show for a while, is super problematic.
Until point.
Yeah, she's pretty problematic because she is just overtly sexualized all the time forever.
Pretty much every scene she's in.
Does she have a personality,
no.
or does she just fuck everyone?
She has a dark past or something.
Yeah, whatever. And I don't know that they say the word bisexual. She just sleeps with anything.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is problematic on many, many, many levels. The show, I think it wants to be this, feminist thing, because Diane Lockhart, who's one of the other name partners, she's a pretty good feminist. I mean, a white feminist, so she's a bit problematic. But Alicia's super boring, which is a shame, because, working mom returning to the legal field after years of being a stay-at-home mother, it could have been so empowering. It's a very tepid show from beginning to end, with, one singular, really good episode.
Yeah, basically every episode is like somebody suing somebody for something.
Right.
And that's like the entire episode.
Right. Sometimes Michael J. Fox is there.
Yeah.
As like the worst character in existence.
Well, they're all lawyers, so they're always lawyering each other.
Yeah.
And like, regardless of what goes on in the courtroom, like, they might respect each other outside of the courtroom, but they will, like, stab each other in the back to get what's best for them. And then, like, go back to respecting each other or some bullshit.
As though nothing happened.
Yeah.
It is also, like, Broadway star-studded.
Yeah, like consistently.
Nathan Lane, Aaron Tveit, Sutton Foster, who plays Rizzo. What's her name?
I don't know.
I don't remember. Rizzo. Rizzo is there.
Right.
There's, like, a bunch of them.
I mean, name, like, Chris Jackson.
Yeah, Chris Jackson shows up. Renee Elise Goldsberry. Lynn should have shown up. Yeah, Leslie Odom Jr. shows up. And this is post-Hamilton. Yeah. So, like, why? Yeah. It's super random. And these just, like, Broadway greats show up for a second. I say greats. Great to, like...
They are great.
Teen musical theater geeks. Yeah. So... The one great episode is when Will gets shot in the courtroom by Hunter Parrish, who is another Broadway teen boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. It's a good episode.
It is a good episode. It's just, it happens all of a sudden, and it creates
not even like a finale.
Yeah, it's just like the actor was leading the show.
And they're like, what to do about that.
Just make it crazy.
Yeah, because he was Alicia's love interest.
Mm-hmm.
And, yeah. Whatever.
Because there's this whole, like, thing where, like, Peter is still, you know...
Oh, Alan Cumming.
Oh, yeah, wow.
It's, like, the best part of the show.
He is. He's, like, the fix-it guy. He's the Olivia Pope of the show. But he's always looking out for the best interest of, like, whatever he's looking at. So, like, Peter runs for state's attorney... or is state's attorney, and then is running for governor.
Yeah.
And then
runs for president.
Yeah. Like, and Eli, played by Alan Cumming, is always just like trying to do what's best for the campaign.
Right.
Campaign manager is really
and he's so funny because he's Alan Cumming, and they won't let him be gay, which is exhausting.
Yeah.
America Ferrera.
There was something I was gonna say and I forgot it. It's okay. But yeah, the show is kind of just lukewarm. It's a shame that, you know, your main actress just... I don't know if she can't act, but she doesn't act.
She is not good at portraying emotion in her face. Which is a shame. Yeah.
Because like you said, it could be a really powerful show. Because she's trying to, you know, make a name for herself, kind of, and, like, separate herself from her husband. That's what I was going to say. There's the whole, like, anytime Peter is running for a political thing, there's always, like, their public life, and then what Alicia's doing in their private life.
Right.
Which is dating Will and trying to, like, be with
Will.
Yeah. But, like...
Yeah, she has to be Saint Alicia in public.
She has to be Peter's wife. Yeah. Which just causes a bunch of shit to go wrong. Yeah, and that's the show.
Yeah, like, the finale is still, like, just about that. Like, Alicia's like, I don't want to be alone, and then the guy that she's currently screwing is not there.
Yeah.
Like, it could have been a really cool, I'm going to be independent, but nope. It's just a,
Yeah.
Like, it's over. Yeah. And there is a spin-off show called The Good Fight, which maybe is better. I'm not going to watch. It's on CBS's exclusive streaming service, so good luck.
No.
Yeah, so that was just an overall tepid viewing experience.
It was something to put on.
Right. I needed something brainless and garbagey.
Yeah.
Which, that filled perfectly. Matt Zucri, I think is how you say his name. Logan from Gilmore Girls is in it, which is, I think, how my mom convinced me to watch it in the first place. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So anyway, in addition, once we finished The Good Wife, we were trying to figure out what to watch, as we do. And since we finished season 4 of The 100, and season 5 has been available for so long, and I was like, we're not gonna watch it, are we? And Matt is like, I really want to. Fuck it.
This is because I thought that was the end of the show.
Because it should have been. After Lexa, they should have canceled.
I mean, yes, they probably should have.
Well, because especially we didn't even know about the next scandal. Like,
yeah.
There's the whole, we'll get to it. Should I do it now? I don't know.
If you want.
I mean, the guy who played Lincoln, I don't remember his name, which is awful, but he went on to be Shadow in American Gods, which I also should watch because I love the book.
Yeah.
But apparently, Lincoln, who was, not a big part of the show, should have been a big part of the show.
I mean, was a pretty big part, technically. Because with
Octavia's love interest.
Yeah.
But
up until they get the Ark on the ground and they're in Arcadia and Bellamy has to kill him.
Right.
Spoilers. I mean, because of Pike and whatever else is going on.
All the nonsense.
Yeah.
The guy who played Lincoln apparently, sort of got harassed off the show by Jason Rothenberg, who's the show's creator, because, he just kept cutting Lincoln's lines and his scenes, and he wouldn't respond to the guy's emails with questions about what was happening.
Yeah.
And, the guy was, he was so mad that he had to leave because he loved the show. He loved the cast. He loved the crew, but he was just being so underutilized. And it was so bad that the producers, of the CW and of Warner Brothers let him audition for American Gods. Because he was so underutilized on the show. Yeah. And then Lincoln got, boringly killed off in the middle of somebody else's plot.
Yeah, that was kind of shitty.
Which was a week after they killed Lexa.
Was it?
I think that's what the article I read
I thought it was before that.
It was definitely after.
So that's got to be, season 3, almost 4.
It's got to be 4.
So Lincoln's, a big part up until then.
No, he's not. He's there, but he's not.
He is to the characters on the show, not to us as the audience.
Yes.
That's what I'm identifying as the 100 themselves. I don't.
Unclear because
I don't separate reality and television anymore.
Sure.
Never have, honestly.
So yeah, Lincoln is a big part of things, right up until he just sort of randomly isn't.
It's so weird that when we went to watch season 5, after we finished season 5, we're let's start it again. And I was looking at all of the other seasons, and they're very short seasons.
Yeah, they're very short.
There's a lot of shit that happens, and I could have sworn they were full seasons, but they're just half seasons.
Well, and what's so insane is, we were both completely sure that season 5 was it, because after Lexa,
and
who the fuck was going to keep watching?
I heard that it was the end.
Well, I know I told you that it was the end.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I was so sure, but...
And it is, in a way.
The finale... Spoilers, I guess. Don't watch the 100, it's garbage.
No, watch the 100. It is garbage, but it's pretty good.
It's garbage. It's social justice garbage.
I'm not saying that it's...
Well, I am. I have to. The end, it says, end of book 1. And we're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
And then apparently, the book, the 100, wasn't even written yet when they started creating the show based on the book. It was a concept.
Yeah, they were talking about the synopsis and what the book and the characters were going to do. So they had presumably they had key points, but once they were talking about making this into a show, the book and the
diverged
series
from minute 1
were already way different than Game of Thrones.
Right, which had to go off the rails at the end because the final books aren't out yet.
But so there's a season 6 that continues the story from where it ends. Spoilers if you don't want it spoiled, but because it is a pretty cool ending, which would have been fine for the show to end there.
Yeah, although it was a bit of Deus Ex Machina.
Oh, for sure.
I never know how to pronounce
Machina?
that. Is it Machina or is it Machina?
I've heard it both ways.
I have to. It depends on how pretentious whoever is speaking is. I'll look it up. I'll figure it out. That's on me. Go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything. What were you going to say?
I thought you were in the middle of talking about something.
I mean, no, I was adamant about finishing the series because it had an end.
Right, but apparently now it doesn't, and the creator is just it can just continue forever.
I mean, it could.
It has already continued too long.
It has.
The end.
I don't really know where else they can go.
I mean, they have spoilers, gone to a new planet.
Yeah.
So we can just do the whole damn thing
spoilers,
again.
So we're going to just real quick
just ruin it.
Summarize like each season. So season 1, their
life on the ground.
Life on the ground, all the 100 kids that were in prison for some shit.
For various crimes.
Yeah. Were sent to the ground to see if it was inhabitable.
Right.
It is. Then there's grounders, people that survived the apocalypse, basically.
Right.
That exist and are their biggest conflict.
Right. Yeah. Season 1, the conflict is the grounders. Season 2. Still grounders.
Honestly, I think it is right up until.
No, season 2 is not weather.
Okay.
Season 2 is not weather because there's not just the grounders on the ground.
So there's basically a nuclear bomb shelter that existed called Mount Weather, where people that were on the ground could find shelter.
Right.
And then there's a whole like cult/civilization in this mountain that's also like weaponized the outside of the mountain to like ward off people. Like they're the reason that the gas shit is there. So it's all about getting into Mount Weather, and like once they realize what shit's going on in there, using grounders for eternal life or some shit.
Or like to filter their blood because of the radiation.
Oh, that's right, because they've been underground for so long. When they go out into the sun, they burn.
They'll die,
So they can't actually step out and feel the warmth of the sun and everything.
And blah, 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 blah.
Yeah, so they're trying to find a way to circulate their blood in order to accept the sun. Wow, I forgot about that plot.
Yeah, I did too.
So they're harvesting grounders and whatnot.
Right,
so
no big deal, whatever.
They blow up Mount Weather.
Clark blows up Mount Weather.
Clark blows up Mount Weather.
Season 3 is Allie.
Okay,
then we get into AI shit.
Yeah, they go... They're like, well, Mount Weather was like our only option. We had to blow it up.
At some point, all the adults that were still on the space station came back down to Earth, and that's the whole thing, having to adjust from Lord of the Flies to having grown-ups again.
Yeah, they use they basically bring the Ark, which is their space station. Shuttle is what I was going to call it, but it is a station.
Right.
They bring that down to Earth, use it to like survive in a shelter, blah blah blah.
Yeah,
but then there's this City of Light that they hear about. And the City of Light is essentially this AI software
called
Allie, which we find out she was like in charge of some research thing that happened in space.
Did she launch the nuclear everything that destroyed Earth the first time?
So
is that what it was?
I think it was a bit of Skynet shit. So like Terminator style. The AI software got too intelligent.
That's right.
And was going to...
Becca was the scientist.
Becca was the scientist. Allie was the program.
Right.
And I want to say that, like, Becca saw that Allie was getting too strong, was going to disable her, but Allie decided she was going to blow up Earth or something. Basically.
Like that. So all of the stupid, dumb humans form some religious cult around Allie, basically, and they can take the City of Light or come to the City of Light. It's a little capsule thing.
Yeah, it's a chip. Essentially it's a microchip
that they can swallow.
Yeah,
and then
it puts their essence inside the machine.
And then Allie can control.
Yeah.
All, like what they do, what they see, what they like. Yeah. Yeah.
Supposedly creating a better life than what they were doing on Earth.
Right, so the people that are suffering are the first ones to get targeted. Yeah. And then it's scary culty.
Yeah. It's just, it's essentially like either you take this or you die.
Right.
And Jaha, who's around for way too long, convinces people to do it. And then we meet Lexa.
Somewhere. I think we've met Lexa already.
Probably. One of the
Lexa is the commander. That's right. I was going to say queen. No, the whole thing is the commander.
Yeah, the commander.
And Clark, we didn't talk about Clark at all. We didn't talk about Bellamy at all.
I prefer not to. Well, Bellamy is good.
Bellamy's a hero.
Yeah.
Clark sucks, but Clark's shining moment is being gay, because it makes her just a little bit interesting.
Yeah.
She ends up with Lexa sexually, and the second after that happens, somebody comes in the room waving a gun around, and of course Lexa dies because she's Tara in the wrong place at the wrong time, and that's what happens to gay people in popular television. Bury your gays.
I would argue that it makes way more sense here than it does in Buffy.
Yeah.
Because at least this is sort of like politically motivated.
It is a little bit foreshadowed, too.
Yeah, because Lex, I want to keep calling her Alexa, but she is the commander, and like there's this whole like
there's a
clan
political thing
element where all these different nations are like fighting over power, blah blah blah.
Right.
But in Buffy, it's just like a bullet comes through the window,
on
not even related to what's going on outside, and she gets shot and dies.
And Cary is dead.
And it's bullshit.
Yeah.
But so Lexa dies, Clark gets pissed.
Goes off the deep end.
Becomes...
no, she's Wanheda before that.
I don't fucking know.
She's Wanheda because of Mount Leather.
Oh, well, whatever.
I don't remember what she does as retaliation for Lexa.
She just goes crazy.
She goes crazy again.
And then, it's all of the clans struggling for power for some reason, just to be the biggest bad.
And then the beginning of season 4, we have the conflict with the Ice Nation.
Yeah.
It's like a little bit of a thing. And then Prime Fire.
Yeah, basically a second apocalypse is coming.
Of course.
The sun is going to explode and burn off the planet
radiation
or something. Yeah.
Blah, blah, blah,
Solar
blah.
flares, all science fiction crap.
Right.
And so the only way to ward against this is to go back to the Ark.
Or, well, there are a couple of different options.
No.
There's
one option.
There's the bunker is kind of a huge important
Jaha,
thing.
again.
Fuck Jaha.
Follows a story or
something,
hears about this bunker that exists.
Right.
Another place to take shelter, underground.
Right.
Somewhere.
So, and then they have to, like, fight over who's going to go into the bunker.
Yeah, because it can only hold so many people.
Right.
And obviously you have the people from space, which... Sky Crew is what they're referred to as, and then all of the different clans.
Right, so you have to figure out. And of
yeah.
course, Sky Crew is the worst.
Right.
Like, we found it, we should go in there, we have blah blah,
yeah.
they suck. Octavia has gone sort of native and is kind of grounder at this point. Yeah, she's in Tree Crew, isn't she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, because she's with Indra.
Right.
Woof. This is a mess.
We're streamlining it, because I don't want to
It's not necessary. Like, the individual seasons, it moves very fast.
Yeah.
It's difficult to stop watching. There's a lot of suspense. It's like Twilight in that it's fast-paced and it's fun until you look too closely at it. So if you want to have a good time with the 100, don't.
I thought it was fine.
Well, great. Good for you.
I'm just saying, what do you mean? Like, yes, there are plot holes, like, a lot, but it's a CW show.
Everybody's attracted.
You
Everybody's
shouldn't
eyebrows
be going
are
into
plucked.
it expecting the plots to be
all of the
thick.
love interest females wear makeup.
Yeah.
Like, everybody has an 8-pack.
It's weird because, it's the end of the world and everyone looks,
and everyone looks
still
flawless.
gorgeous and that they just shampooed their hair.
Their clothes are, like, skin tight and very well fitted despite being made out of, like, tatters of, like, seatbelts or whatever. Like, the costumers, I have to give them credit. The costumes look really good, even if they are improbably well fitted.
Yeah, that's fair. Because they don't have, like, people sewing shit down here. Like, that was the first time in the episode that we literally were watching where I saw Octavia sewing something. It was like fur that she's probably going to give to Lincoln.
Probably.
But, yeah, it's like the only time that they acknowledged that,
that they had to work for that shit.
And there's a bunch of other shit that's going on, and then Prime Fire is happening.
So at the end of season 4, when Prime Fire happens, we have the group in the bunker. We have a handful of the kids that went back up to the Ark, and we have Clark,
who couldn't make it to the spaceship in time because she had to
assume/hope that she's dead.
Send some sort of signal from one of these towers to
the Ark,
so that they would have basically lights or something. The door would open when they landed.
Like the ability to dock or something, or no oxygen. It was the air filter that somehow could only be turned on from the ground.
Right.
Whatever.
So. Season 5,
we have these 3 different groups, and then we add because there's not enough going on.
Yeah, there is a postscript at the end of season 4 where like it's 6 years later, and Clark is on the ground. She survived Prime Fire
because she's a Nightblood,
which is not important.
Like, she survived.
This spaceship starts coming down to land, and Clark gets a look at it through her scope. And it's a prison ship, and all these prisoners start filling.
That happened at the end of 4?
It did.
Oh.
So that, season 5 is all about making it to the ground because the people that are in the bunker are trapped from all the debris and shit.
From Prime Fire.
From Prime Fire. And
the grounder language is hilarious because it sounds like just close to English, which, like, accurate. Yeah. Good for them, but it sounds so fucking stupid.
Yeah. And because of the way, like, there's the apocalypse, but all of these kids have lived in space and have only learned about Earth through stories and things.
Right.
When they land, there's no, like, signage anywhere, but there are parts of signs, so they refer to Washington, D.C. as Ton D.C. And, like,
well, that's what the grounders call their village.
Right.
Ton D.C.
Because
and Polish.
Of some sort of sign that was covered up on both sides or something that, like, that's where they got the name for it.
So, yeah, like, it does that post-apocalyptic thing.
Like, yeah, it is their own unique way of doing it, and it does make sense. But
it just sounds stupid as shit, yeah. So we have all these different groups in Season 5, and they're
fighting for this patch of land that has all this green.
Somehow the only spot on Earth they have all determined.
And so the prisoners are already there, trying to keep people away.
Clark and Maddie are already there. Clark and Maddie live there all 6 years. Maddie, who's her grounder child that she discovered.
Yeah, another Nightblood that survived Prime Fire.
Right.
Then there are the people in the bunker that, like I said, they're dying off. They don't have a lot of shit to survive.
Well, Octavia is kind of...
Octavia has made it into a Thunderdome of situations where...
Listen, I loved Octavia seasons 2 through 4.
Yeah.
She's kind of annoying in season 1 because, she's a little teenage girl. Yeah, she hasn't figured out how to be a badass yet.
Right.
5, we go way off the rails with Octavia.
She gets crazy. Batshit crazy.
Yeah.
And Clark is annoying.
Yeah, like the whole time. The entire first episode of Season 5, which is why it took me so long to want to get back into the show, is just Clark wandering around by herself, being crazy and annoying. And I'm like, I know that the rest of the season can't be like this, but I hate this so much, I don't want to give it any more of my life.
Right. But then it was good.
Parts of it were good.
I know. That's what I'm saying when
Once
it's good.
Once Bellamy came back.
Yes. Like people that were on the Ark found a way to come back down to
They had to get back
down
to Earth. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was a whole process.
Yeah.
And then they were fighting over the valley, and then one of the guys one of the factions among the prisoners was like, I'm gonna fuck everything up, and he sends a bunch of toxic waste hurtling from space into the valley or whatever.
Yeah.
And destroys it.
Bombs,
so they have to all go back up to space into cryosleep. Naturally.
Yeah.
And then they're going to just be in cryo for 10 years until Earth can...
again.
And then they get woken up. Clark and Bellamy, just Clark and Bellamy get woken up, and we're like, they are not going to fucking make them kiss after all this time.
It really looked like they were going to.
And they didn't, although apparently they still have more time. Yeah, and they find out through a video recording of somebody.
Yes, a really lazy way.
So lazy.
Of tying up loose ends and shit. But while you watch it, or while I was watching it, I got emotional because it's a good character that was also underutilized.
Monty was super underutilized.
Yeah. Explaining, what happened. So, 10 years went by, the planet wasn't inhabitable. So we were going to wait a little longer, and now I don't think it's ever going to be inhabitable. So I cracked the code on this secret file that we played to at the beginning that nobody could get into, and found out that there's another planet. So I put the coordinates in the ship. You're going to get taken there, and hopefully, if I'm right, you'll be watching this video, and there's the planet.
Yeah, the series should have ended with Clark and Bellamy looking out the window of the spaceship as, this new planet comes into view. Which would have been...
It would have been cool.
Such a good way to end it.
Yeah, it would have been like starting again.
Because they've spent, much of Season 5 talking about how every time these humans are given something, they ruin it and they fuck it up by fighting. And they're like, we're gonna do better now.
We're gonna break the cycle.
We're gonna break the cycle, yeah. So it would have been perfect.
The cycle. Also known as the Ark.
He's drawing a circle with his finger, which is not conveyed via audio. But
I just wanted you to see that.
Okay, great. Yes, that would have been a really beautiful place for the series to end.
Also, Clark and Bellamy, throughout the entire series, except Season 1, because shit's just crazy in season 1. They're just friends.
Yeah, Bellamy kind of sucks in season 1, but he goes on a hell of a redemption arc.
Yes. He has to suck in season 1 in order to get where he is in season 5.
He was the only one I cared about in season 5.
Yeah, he's the best character.
I would lay down my life for Bellamy Blake.
I know. So would I.
I mean, I would at the beginning.
Yeah, I know.
Not because of his personality.
Hot. I get it.
Listen, anybody who's listening, go and Google Bob Morley and just bask in his beautiful face. Wow. I'm sorry, but I'm not.
I know you're not. Not even pretend sorry.
No.
That's okay.
A little bit sorry.
No, you're not. Don't lie to me.
Sorry, he's so beautiful. Shrug.
Wow.
So yeah, the 100 is fine.
The 100 is a good show.
It's not.
It is in its category. That's what you're forgetting.
So if you're setting it up alongside what, Supernatural? I don't know what else.
I don't even think...
It's like in the category with like Teen Wolf.
I mean, a little bit.
But Teen Wolf is more diverse and has more gay people. So
it's exactly what it's supposed to be.
The 100... The problem with the 100 is that it starts off like a completely average CW show with a bunch of straight white teenagers. The black one gets killed off very early on. And there's a love triangle and blah, 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 whatever. It's annoying, it's stupid. But then, very quickly, it blossomed off into, wait, everyone is actually gay. So the people of the internet got very excited about this because there is precious little queer representation, and there was even less when this show was airing.
Which is like 2013.
Yeah, it was a couple of years ago. So it was very exciting. But the biggest problem, the biggest misstep that this show made, other than killing Wells, the black character, which didn't become apparent until you saw the other thing, and then you look back and you were like, wait a minute, this is sort of a problem, a pattern of problematic behavior. Killing Lexa, like whether or not it made sense for the story, which I would agree that it does.
I'm not defending.
I know you're not. I'm just explaining to you why I'm so adamant that it's a fine show. It's not. I wouldn't call it a good show. Like, they killed Lexa, so this thing that they set up about there being all of these wonderful, not straight, exciting characters, they gave everybody that hope, and then they shot Lexa. So
but they didn't get rid of the other
brutal.
Gay characters. They got rid of the gay character that affected the main character.
Right, like the main storyline.
Right.
Like, Clark was a main character,
and
she and Lexa had been so obviously into each other for so long, and everyone was like, they're not going to do it. They're not. Oh my god, they might do it. Oh my god, they might do it. And then the second they did it, they killed Lexa.
But Clark kept being gay.
Yeah.
And had a relationship with someone, I don't remember.
She fucked someone.
I'd call that a relationship.
I don't know. It felt like a betrayal.
I see that. But as a show, like, aside from the social justice part of it,
I can't divorce it from that.
I know. I'm not asking you to. I'm just saying it is a good show in terms of its story. It's not like a masterpiece.
The number of times we're like, really?
Yes, I know, but a show is just supposed to be entertaining, and I think it's fulfilling that requirement.
It's like chips.
Yeah.
Like, you could just
fine.
like jam a bunch of it in your mouth really fast.
It doesn't fill you, but it satisfies you for that moment.
Okay.
And that's what I'm saying. The show functions as what it's set out to do.
I'm
a young
so glad
adult
when
novel.
I said it's like chips, you were like, yeah. You were like, what the fuck?
No, like, I get it.
Okay, good.
They're not nutritional. They don't give you... They give you something to do.
And if you eat too many of them, you're like, what have I done?
Right. That's fair. Yeah.
Young adult.
It's a CW show. I'm not expecting it to be like, you know.
And I wasn't either, but then it sort of tried to set itself up like it was.
And I don't know what changed.
They killed Lexa.
No. I don't know why they decided to do that.
Yeah, I don't either.
That's what I'm saying. Like, apparently the creator was always shitty.
Right, so why even?
So what was causing the surge of gay characters and then all of a sudden killing? Like, I know it's a trope, but this exists on the other side of 2010. I know there's a transition in media where, like, we're starting to get more politically correct, but killing off your gay character is a step back.
Yeah,
like you just
it definitely is.
So I don't know what happened, like who decided that.
Yeah, what the brains behind the 100.
And was it literally just to cause the drama of like, well, we got them all now.
Yeah, and the gay characters were so cool because it was so casual. It wasn't like a big coming out. It was just like, oh yeah, Miller's off with his boyfriend. And we're like, wait, yeah.
Well, then that's what it should be. Like representation.
Yeah, like casual background. Like it shouldn't be a huge big deal. And like, you know, not to keep bringing it back to Teen Wolf, but that's the only other show of this caliber that I have spent a significant amount of time with. Like, yeah, I mean, there are just casual gay characters on Teen Wolf, and some of them are in committed relationships, and some of them aren't, and like, it's just a fact of life.
Right.
As it is. Yeah. I don't know. I got very, very disappointed with the 100. Yeah.
I'm sorry.
It's okay. I'm not even gay.
No.
But whatever.
Well, on that note, like, we didn't talk about the crimes of Grindelwald.
Oh, I sucked. The end.
Yeah, that was it.
We'll do it another time, maybe.
We said that on the last one.
We showed my mom John Mulaney, and she didn't think he was funny.
Yeah.
That's really all we got on that one.
Pretty much.
Peak millennial humor, and
yes.
She is not a millennial.
Right.
All right.
Well, I think that's a good place to stop.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, bye.
Well, no. I'm your host, Matthew, the Dr. Danko.
Bye.
Once the show ends, please don't shed those tears. We'll come back again, so have no fear. Oh, we told you that it just might end up this way. What's the show called again? You cannot be saying, why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me now? Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you warn me? Why didn't you